Welcome everyone to the Goffstown Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting for September 5th, 2023. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. The Goffstown Zoning Board is an elected board of 5 members and up to 5 appointed alternates. We currently have a full board this evening. Currently, the board has 5 members and 1 alternate. If anyone is interested in serving on the board, please contact the Town Planning and Zoning Office. The board has a posted agenda for each meeting and tends to follow the items in order. The board will open for the public hearing on an application to receive testimony from applicants, abutters, and affected parties, and ask questions about the request. The public hearing will then be closed, and the board will enter into a deliberative session to discuss the merits of the request. For each application, the board will decide to approve with conditions, deny, or continue to a later meeting. You're welcome to watch the deliberations this evening, or you can contact the Town Hall Planning and Zoning Office in the morning to get the results. For each applicant's request to be approved, there must be an affirmative vote of at least 3 members. An applicant can request a continuance if there is not a full 5-member board to act on an application. If you are aggrieved by a decision made by the ZBA tonight, you have the right to appeal to Superior Court. However, before appealing to the Superior Court, you must request a rehearing with this board to preserve your right to appeal. Rehearing requests must be filed within 30 days of the decision and state all reasons why the decision was unlawful or unreasonable. Failure to request a rehearing may forfeit your ability to appeal to the Superior Court. Would everyone please silence your cell phones for the duration of this meeting? And I'll ask the board to introduce themselves, starting over in that corner with Jack.
Jack Shepard, Building Inspector for the Town of Goffstown and Code Enforcement Officer in Zoning.
Gayla Breck, Member and Recording Secretary.
Denise Langley, Vice Chair.
Leonard Stewart, Chairman.
Judy Lane, Member.
Jason Cody, Member.
Alan Yaton, Member.
All right, first order of business for this evening is the minutes. Did anyone have any corrections or changes to the minutes of the meeting from August 1st?
I motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Minutes are approved. Okay, first item on the agenda this evening is an application from Peggy Lombardo, applicant seeking a variance to convert an existing single-family home with an attached accessory dwelling unit into a 2-unit duplex home. The variance is required as the lot has only 294.88 feet of frontage, whereas 300 feet of road frontage is required in accordance with section 4.3.3 of the Table of Dimensional Regulations of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. The property is located at 568 Blackbrook Road, map 11, lot 22-8, zoned agricultural. Entertain a motion on regional impact.
Motion to find a regional impact.
Second.
Alan? Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The applicants, please come on up and present your case. wonder if you can just tell us, if you'd introduce yourself and spell your name for the record, and just tell us a little bit more about what you wanted. Ooh, your written application is already part of the hearing record, so you don't have to go point by point, but if there's anything you'd like to elaborate on, please do.
My name is Rick Warren, GNR Construction. I'm the one who's been doing the work over there. This is Peggy Lombardo, the owner of the house. And she has a small ADU unit right now. It's only about 500 something square feet. And what she wants to do is the kitchen, living room, dining room, it's all kind of together. So there's no room to entertain people or whatever. So she wants to take her bedroom, make it to the living room, and then build a new bedroom, which will be the addition.
Okay, and looking at your designs, this looks like this is gonna be built off the back,
And the back of it, yeah.
of the house.
Yeah.
When
From-
was the original ADU approved on
I
this?
believe it was a 19...
I'm sorry, my hearing isn't that great.
When was it approved? It was
Yeah.
approved in... When did you put the addition on? Was it
2 years ago.
90?
Oh, God. When the
Okay,
addition was put on, I don't remember.
I thought it was in 90-something.
It's like 20,
our
That's over 20
institutional
years.
memory there says 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
yeah, over 20
He knows more than we
years.
do.
It's over 20 years ago.
ADU? No.
All right, any,
The ADU was approved 2 years ago.
Maybe it's the house that's 20 years old?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Can I mention something? When the builder built the addition, it was for my mother, and I lived in the main house. It's still going to stay a family house. My son lives in the main house, and I'm living on the other side. But when he built the addition, he told her that she could put her kitchen table on the other side of the counter, which blocks the egress. It's a pathway just to get to the mudroom, so she couldn't do that. So there's no special place to put a place where you can even eat other than at the bar. And I'm 73. I don't want to get older and still sitting up at a bar.
I can understand. Members of the board,
Just a simple question, Mr. Chairman. What are we gonna do about septic system?
Yeah. The number, I'm sorry.
It's not changing anything. We're not doing any bathroom or nothing.
And
At
there's
least
no-
we're adding a
Point.
bedroom.
That's not the point. Duplex requires a new septic system.
Okay.
They're just moving it. They're not adding it. They're making the bedroom, but they're making the current bedroom into the living room. Correct me if I'm
Yes.
wrong.
Proposed new bedroom,
Right.
and then bedroom changed to living room, sorry.
yeah,
Okay.
it's an
Yeah.
internal
Yeah, okay,
reconfiguration.
so that's
Right.
no issue, yeah.
Septic system, should it change?
Yep.
For a
Why?
It's a
duplex.
duplex.
Oh,
Duplex requires an individual septic system designed for that purpose. It's not an ADU where
Right.
we've been lenient in telling them that you replace it when the system fails.
And that's the reason duplex could have two ownerships as well, couldn't it?
It could, because we
if it's
don't.
condo, well,
Well,
no.
not unless
Yes.
it's condo.
Yeah, we'd have to be condoed.
You could do all kinds of things.
For a duplex.
There's no restriction on the ADU in this town in terms of who lives there, whether it's the property owner or others. This is one of the few towns where ADU doesn't have to be occupied by the property owner.
But with this addition, it wouldn't be an ADU anymore, it would be a duplex.
Correct.
So my question to you, Alan, is that a building department issue or a zoning issue for the septic?
It's something we've always addressed.
Okay.
State mandated. And we just back it up, what we do.
Okay.
So in other words, to go to the, convert from ADU to
A
duplex.
or two-family.
You've got to add the septic capacity.
Now, how many square foot does this unit end up being with the addition?
Right now, I think it's gonna be another 18, let me get my calculator. 8 something. See if I can do the exact in a second.
That's without the stair. Means of egress. I'm hoping you're gonna tell me it's less than 800 square feet.
The addition itself?
No, the whole thing.
Or
The whole thing? So it's still just an ADU?
I see.
I'm gonna guess Alan's already done this.
He knows the answers to the questions he's asking.
By 550, right around 550.
Is what you're adding?
No, I'm adding 18 by 18, so I'm adding,
324 square feet you're adding.
So when
Yeah,
it gets done, you'll
324.
have about 700 square feet, which is well within our limits of ADU.
So I guess my question to the applicant is why are you going for a duplex and not increasing the size of your ADU?
I'm not getting the.
Why aren't you going for the, why are you going for the duplex instead of increasing the size of your ADU?
I didn't know I could go for an increase on the DU size. Okay, when I spoke, whoever was in the office there, she gave me the option. She didn't give me that option. Otherwise, I probably would have done that. No, it now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, so we can't change that right now, can we?
I don't see why not.
I bet we can.
It's up to these.
Okay.
We don't like to waste people's time. Contrary to what they might believe.
So
In order for that to be modified, don't we just set it as a continuance? And they change the paperwork? Because the paperwork is all set for,
No, I
We can do
I
it.
think we can do it right, just right in the conditions.
As long as they're consent to it, and then that's what if we approve it, that's what we're approving.
We're just gonna make it clear.
Do we
So can I
know?
ask a question?
Yes.
So you're saying that when you applied for your application,
originally,
originally it was requested you're asking for a duplex?
at first we were just gonna go with try to get the bedroom in there with the limit of 800 square feet for the ADU. And then I said, well, you end up with a small bedroom because I got to put a stairway from the downstairs to upstairs, so you lose almost 4 feet there. So you end up with a really small bedroom. I said, why don't we go the next step? I forgot who I was talking in the office, but the only other way would be to go with a duplex because she noticed there was some duplex in the neighborhood, so she assumed that duplex were allowed there. We didn't know all the little ins and outs yet. And then they told, well, we need to get a variance because we didn't have the right frontage. The topic never came up that we could go for an increase in the ADU because I don't know if that was ever available. I've been doing this for quite a while, and some towns don't even. You got a limit. That's it. You can't go a half an inch over. Okay, I was in Auburn, and they wouldn't allow me to do it. Okay, so every town is different. So I didn't know that we could do that. Otherwise, I would have went for that, knowing what I just found out now. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask a question. Do you know the current square footage of the existing ADU?
Yes, I do. Okay, right now it's 576.
So you've got almost, what are we, 850, so you've
Five-
got
five
almost,
point
you've
six
got
plus.
almost 300 square feet of possible expansion,
Right.
still within the ADU category
Right.
without going to the
Because
duplex.
to make the ADU, I would have to make it 15 by 18. And by the time I take 4 feet out, so you end up with a bedroom that's 11 foot by, right? That's why we want to go to the 18. Now I can get the stairway, still have about a 15 foot by, because she wants to put one of those Murphy bed, because she does a lot of crafts and stuff, so she wants to use shelving, all that stuff. That's why she wants a bigger bedroom.
Let me ask this, would it be advantageous to you if we continued this to another month, let you recalculate your plans based on coming in with an expanded ADU? Tell us if it works
Yeah.
for you. I think we can,
The problem with
Continue
me
for
is
another
that we're gonna
month,
get into the
then-
winter now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
think
no way
he's
to
changing
And I'm
change
leaving
the
for Florida
terminology.
November 1st.
You're
There's no way to
840
change the
square
existing
feet.
terminology on the
With your
application.
calculations of the
What?
addition.
He's not
it comes at
changing
You
that.
840.
can't push them
Because
out
this
another
still
month
meets
for
the
that.
800,
I didn't hear,
right?
sorry.
It comes at
Does it meet
840.
it?
140.
What's the total
It's on
square
40
footage
feet,
between?
too many.
40
What's,
square
I
feet
don't
of
have
labor,
this
right?
dimension here, so it's hard for me to figure this.
So we gotta wait another month for that, you're saying?
No, if you want to expand it,
You
it's
have,
up to you.
What's the total, could you tell me again, what's the total square footage of the space you have now plus the addition?
You just figured it out, but
Yeah, I just figured out it's 840.
And that's with the
minus the
stairs.
stairs,
Minus the stairs,
So
yes.
it's under 800.
800.
under 800.
Under
Under
800.
800.
Correct.
And that would not create a new septic system?
Nope.
Right.
And
Caveat
meets-
is if it fails, it has to be replaced.
And that's for all AD.
Yeah.
So, and it meets the criteria.
Yes.
Can you say that again? What you just said?
Oh, they will not have to have, sorry, a septic system, an additional septic system. And it meets the criteria of zoning.
So the only thing that they really have to do is see Jack about getting a building permit.
Yeah,
When-
we don't
if we
even have
approve.
to,
We don't have to do anything,
we don't have to
actually.
do anything. We don't have to.
I would.
Jack, would you like us to approve it?
I claim the fifth.
Well, as far as you're concerned, from your opinion, your experience, are we okay approving it as an ADU expansion versus a duplex? Without, even though that's not what was specified in the application?
Yes, I have to recheck the calculations, but the way I look at it, it's, I mean, we're looking at 576 square feet, the existing one, and we're looking at 274, that's 850,
Minus the stair.
minus the stairs.
Says, I just wanna check something.
576.
Three times 18 is 54 square feet.
Yep. So you make it 795.
Yep.
795.
$795.
You're deducting the whole stairway, you're saying?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
And there's a little landing on top, so you got a little bit of square footage there, right? Because you go up the
It's
stairs.
still stairs.
I thought when I figured out, it was just a little bit of 800, just maybe like 2-3 feet or something like that.
No, it comes out like 7, it's in high 790s.
Okay.
I wouldn't be against it.
Okay.
All right, further discussion.
Is-
Do I hear a motion?
No,
Well, we need to do
Public.
a public hearing.
please.
Oh, all right. You have nothing further. Let me ask, you can step back, folks, and let me ask if there's any members of the public here or any abutters who want to make questions, comments, or have anything to say about the application. All right. Hearing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. And do I hear any thoughts or motions from
So
members
no-
of the board?
Okay, so no variance is required, right?
No variance is required, but this has been brought to our attention of wanting to do I'm just trying how to word this.
Yeah.
Um,
Should we specify in the motion that we
Less
changed
than
it.
800 square feet.
That because it's less than 800 square feet, instead of a dwelling unit, it's an ADU expansion.
I think so.
I'll
Is
make
there-
that motion.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is there any issue because it's an agricultural zone? Do we have to change anything because it's a modification of the ADU?
Because we
Because
already
it still
granted,
meets ADU requirements.
Okay.
but we already granted a variance for the ADU.
Right. And this
But
is
they just built it
infringing.
smaller than allowed. Now they want to increase it to what's almost allowed.
And if you look on the site plan, we're not infringing
No
on,
setbacks, no
that's
nothing.
38 feet from the sideline. So,
Okay. That
All
was
right,
the
I
only
heard a
question I
motion.
had.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in
Can
favor?
you just read the motion so that we all hear it was kind of pieces? I'm sorry.
Before we call the motion, let's have Gail. read
Okay, I just
past.
wrote, so far, I'll think on it more as I get home to put better wording, but because the expansion still meets the ADU requirements, we're approving the application as an expansion rather than a variance. They don't really need zoning approval.
I know, but since this has
But si-
been
but
brought, so
since it's
I'd say
here.
approval for an ADU unit,
Right,
meaning that criteria.
right. An expansion of an ADU.
Yeah.
All right, everyone happy with the wording?
Under 800, total ADU unit will be under 800 square feet.
Okay. That remains under 800 square feet in total. Okay, so I wrote that because the expansion still meets the ADU requirements to approve the application as an expansion of an ADU that remains under 800 square feet in total rather than a variance.
Okay, happy with that, Denise?
As requested.
Sorry, I wanted us to read it.
Any further
Is
discussion?
it okay with that?
Oh, perfect.
Okay.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining?
You're all set.
You're all set,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Well, that's a first.
Yeah, it is.
I'm glad we didn't make it.
It's saving a lot of money.
Okay, next up, we have a variance to build a single-family home on a non-conforming lot 8 feet from each side of the property where 15 feet is required. Concerns section 4.3, the table of dimensional regulations of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. The property is located at 135 Moose Club Park Road, map 19, lot 45, zoned residential 2. Owners are the Smith Family Trust, Heather and Christopher Smith trustees. Entertain a motion on regional impact.
Motion is no regional impact.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, who is speaking for the trust? If you want to come forward and talk about your application.
Are they not here?
Okay. We apparently have no one here.
Okay. We've seen this project before.
Well,
I'm just gonna say, we're the abutters.
oh, okay.
Okay, but, we need somebody to...
I understand.
We need somebody to present for the ownership in this.
Okay, well, we'll put that aside, maybe they'll show up.
Well, hang on a second. They do not have to be present to be heard. Is that not correct?
I would not be able to answer that question.
Likewise, nor,
I have seen applications that did not continue on, like, Planning Board, Conservation Commission, when there was nobody there to present. But on the Conservation Commission, there have sometimes been, depending on the significance of the application, they have continued it. So it's been kind of both ways on that one with the Conservation
We
Commission.
have approved a prior variance on this site for the exact same request. It has expired.
And how
It
long?
looked very familiar to me.
Huh?
It did look very familiar when I was going through everything. And I think we've seen this.
You're right.
Oh, I think
June
they-
13th, 2017.
think they need to make an effort to come in.
Yeah, I,
Well, they're not local, that's for sure. They're from Amherst, I think.
Yes.
I think
It's
in,
in
I think in
Amherst, New
this
Hampshire,
case,
Huh?
Amherst, New Hampshire. It's not. I'm just being a wise
You're
guy.
being a pain in it.
I am. I am.
That's okay. I live with one.
if there is no objection from members of the board, I would propose that we set this aside for the time being until the end of this meeting. If they have not approved, I would suggest that we continue it without prejudice
Correct.
for one month and make sure that they are notified that an appearance is expected at the
Who does
next
that
meeting.
notification?
I presume that would be the gentleman at the end of the
Me.
table there, Mr. Shepherd.
So
Okay.
my one question would be convenience for the abutters. Would we be allowed to listen to them so they don't have to come back? No?
No, because
Never
they want to
mind.
hear the applicants as well.
Okay.
So
True.
I would think,
I think that probably, again, let's hold it. If they don't show up by the end of the meeting, it'll be continued, to the October meeting.
Yeah.
I don't think, will that require, shouldn't require renoticing if it's continued to a
No.
time certain?
As long as we-
yeah, it wouldn't.
All right, we're gonna set it aside, then we'll set it aside for the time being. Wait and see if they're here by the end of the meeting. If not, folks, if you're the butters, you can figure that it will be at the next month, the October meeting. And make sure that they are notified and told that an appearance is expected.
I would probably recommend that you'd call the town prior, like a week ahead, to see if they have communicated that they'll be here. You might want to wait in case they show up. Yeah.
All right, moving to our third case of the evening. Requested, the applicant owner, Jonathan Delude, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, thank you, is seeking 2 variances and a special exception to build a barn with living space above for a proposed home and agricultural operation on a lot that is located on a Class 6 road that is not town maintained. The first variance is required as the proposed agricultural operation and single-family dwelling is not permitted in a commercial industrial flex zone in accordance with section 3.11, the table of principal uses of the Goffstown zoning ordinance. The second variance is required as the lot does not have the required street frontage on a town-maintained road per section 14.7.3 of the zoning ordinance. The zoning board of adjustment may grant a special exception per sections 15.3.2 and 15.3.5 of the zoning ordinance for existing lots that do not have the required frontage on a town-maintained road. The property is located at Kennedy Hill Road, map 5, lot 43, zoned commercial industrial flex. Motion on regional impact, please.
I'll make a motion for regional impact, but I also have a question. It says the zoning board of adjustment may grant a special exception per sections, whatever, of the zoning ordinance for existing lots that do not have the required frontage on a town-maintained road, but this is not a town-maintained road. So do we still have the authority to grant that special exception?
The code enforcer, yeah.
Actually, no. I don't believe we do, unless you want,
It's gotta go
yeah.
to selectmen, doesn't it?
Yes, selectmen have to approve anything on a class 6 road. Any kind of construction on a class 6 road.
He's been to the TRC. And so the various department heads have
Right.
had an opportunity to ask the gentleman questions. And they were consistently happy with what he was proposing
Right.
to do.
Can we still review this? And I mean, I always thought that would have to go to selectmen for,
We have done it before in the
If
past.
they have to
Yeah,
go
so
to
we
the
could still hear it.
the select board would still want to hear what the other boards thought at the TRC. He would probably be asking those questions. But if we don't have the authority to decide, what are we doing if we don't have the authority to,
Who said we don't?
well, it's not a town maintained road, and we only have the authority on lots, oh, wait a minute. That
Yes,
there-
we do have the authority.
We have the authority to approve it, but the selectmen
Subject
have the
to
final
the
say.
select.
Oh, okay, all right,
Subject to the selectmen approving.
okay, that's
Access.
fine,
correct.
okay.
All right, so we were in the middle of regional impact. Do I hear a motion?
I think Gail motioned, right?
Yeah,
I'll
I did.
I
second.
didn't. All right. Motion and seconded. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
No regional impact. Mr. Delude, would you care to come up and present your case?
Hello.
Hello.
All right. So my name's Jonathan Delude, and I'm seeking approval for two variances. One for agricultural use in a commercial flex zone, and then the other is, I'm not too familiar, but it's basically a variance to be able to build a structure on a Class 6 road that's not maintained by the town.
Okay.
So, essentially, there's a Class 6 road out there, and there's a lot of woods, and, you know, when you get out there, there's not a whole lot but rocks and trees. The use, I mean, for commercial flex, I'm not too familiar with commercial flex. It's not exactly what I'm trying to do out there. I'm trying to build a personal barn and living quarters on top of it. We have already started planting trees out there, which I had no idea that I wasn't allowed to plant trees in the commercial flex zone. So my wife and kids and I have already put in 4,000 trees in the ground. So we've started, and it was a lot of little prugs. They're only this big, but so we've kind of got it started on that sense. The lot had been cleared in, I think it was 1985. So there wasn't a whole lot of older trees out there, but there were, you know, trees. We started clearing that area and stayed essentially in that same footprint that somebody had cleared in the past. We own actually two parcels. It's funny, there's another parcel, like our second parcel, our first parcel on the bottom actually has an approval to build an actual house until the end. I think it's November of this year. But our intention is to actually keep that other larger parcel forest and just selectively harvest from it just to maintain that forest so that it stays that way. Right now it serves as a buffer between the houses that are on Mass Road and all of the businesses that are down there. So we're on that piece that we're talking about here, which is I believe it's lot map 5, lot 43, which is now still in current use already. So we intend to stay in that footprint there. There was an existing house in the past. It burned down. I guess it was a camp. There was a family that used to live out there. Well, not live, but I guess they were in Manchester. The Pages actually still live in town. We were fortunate enough that they sold us it because the first piece of land was virtually inaccessible and unbuildable. It was just all ledge and just not what we expected. You know, it was a large piece, but to get in there was a nightmare. So I reached out to them, and that's when we got the piece that we have now.
Does it abut the property that you
It does.
currently own?
Yep.
The second piece of property you're talking about is more toward Mast Road,
It is.
on
Yep.
the downhill side.
Yep, on the downhill side. It's very weird. It's almost shaped like like a gun handle or a gun shape. Like it's very long, skinny stretch between Mast Road. Down there was we did a little bit of history searching. Was the Yakum Spring Hotel? There's still the foundation down there. We'd love to try to, keep that way. But there's a ton of history that was out there. So my wife and I will go out there with the kids and we'll do some metal detecting and such on the weekends. But as of right now, we're just working on this map 5, lot 43, for any kind of construction at all.
I believe you came to this board to get the permission to build. Am I correct?
Not this one. It's all new faces. But it was, I think you said the TRC. I'm not familiar with the names of each board, but the first one I came through was the DPW was here, Scott. I'm trying to blank on some of the other
TRC.
names. Yeah, so it was the first one. And they actually said that I needed to come to see you guys first before I go to select board. And they said select board was actually just going to be making me sign a waiver, essentially saying that that it's okay that I maintain that Class 6 road, which I also wasn't aware of. My abutting neighbor, Greg, there's only a couple of abutting neighbors. One of them's in the back here. He's actually to the right side of Kennedy Hill Road, and then there's one more, Greg Keating, which is above me. And he actually got that waiver in years past. So Greg said, "Oh yeah, we're good to go. We can, grade this road out. We can add gravel, to the sheet that he had gotten." So we kind of ran with that, and so I have access down there already. And when I got to that last meeting, I was like, well, it seems like I may have, I jumped too soon. Probably should have gotten approval myself, and so. I beg forgiveness on that sense of things, but there is access now. It's a gravel road. I mean, anybody could drive their car down there, and they do.
They do. My boys have been down there.
They do.
Oh, God, I went there years, many years. You could actually go for it.
But the portion you're talking about maintaining is the piece, it would be to the, trying to get my directions here, heading back toward Kennedy Hill Road paved section, the segment that ends, I believe it's
Addison Road.
Long Brook Road that
Yep, Long
comes
Brook.
in there. So that is going to be the only access to the property, however, correct? Because there's no access from the Mass Road end.
So technically, the road does connect, but you would have to have some four-wheel drive to get over the ledge on that side. We had thought about, with approval, connecting it, but it's just going to be a ton of traffic up that way. That I don't think is necessary. So the other side of that is that there's I haven't even gotten a chance to meet him yet, but there's a home that's down in the bottom there that the Kennedy Hill Road runs right through the guy's backyard. And it goes right behind Green Thumb Nursery. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but yeah, it goes right back through there, which love the Green Thumb guys too. We've been down there, we get ice cream with the kids, and we actually bought our Christmas trees from them this year. So. But down at the bottom, we own another parcel. It's a little triangle, tiny little triangle. I'm not even sure how that happened, but somebody must have owned all the land at once. But there's a tiny little triangle right next to the one house between that house and Green Thumb, and Kennedy Hill continues through that way. Now, when I go to get fuel, I'll go on my side-by-side that has plates on it to that gas station right there, and I'll get fuel and I'll come back up. But to say like you're gonna drive a Toyota Corolla through there's no way. And right now it's kind of nice. I mean, we're looking to be out there without a ton of traffic. So, we haven't wanted to connect it on that side. So the access has been easy from the Longbrook side, and for now, that's the way we're hoping to keep it. Unless it was gonna be some kind of benefit to the firefighters and policemen. In that sense, we do own a chunk, you know, the other chunk of land, and at some point, if it would be a benefit to them, I wouldn't be opposed to cutting a trail that comes through our property to get around that ledge so they could access it in the event of emergency, if they want to get up to Longbrook quicker. But I think that's probably a little bit out of the realm of what I'm trying to do today.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, Gail.
The application says you're going to have a proposed agricultural operation,
Yep.
and what's that going to include?
So right now we've planted Christmas trees, and they're very small.
Is that the 4,000 trees that you planted?
Yes.
That's a lot of Christmas trees.
It is a lot of Christmas trees, and my wife had always hoped for a Christmas tree farm, so that's where we're starting out. But I mean, as of right now, it's very much that it's starting out. You know, when we got in there, you know, you're hoping to find that it's perfect conditions to grow Christmas trees, and the majority of the lot is like 16 inches maybe of any kind of organic material. It's almost all ledge out there. So it's been kind of difficult in that sense, which we've compiled the tops of the trees that we did take down. I'm hoping to, once I can save up some more money and find out how much I'm in for the actual structure, I'm hoping to actually turn that into biomass and start to create loam to make it a more agricultural site. We're hoping to plant everything from pumpkins and corn and really pull the whole farming side of things.
So, okay, you're gonna be running a business, that's a good thing in this zone. Just letting you know that. Can you tell me what kind of business you're running there?
So right now I have a business called Northern Sustainability, and that business is much outside of what I'm actually doing
What's
out
it called?
here. It's Northern Sustainability.
Thank you.
It's much outside of what I'm actually doing on this site itself. So the majority of my work, actually almost 100% of it the last few years, has been out in Hollis, New Hampshire. We have a shop that's out in Hollis on 43 Main Street. That's where my equipment is for that business. I install segmental systems, retaining walls, paving systems for a company out there. It's Tom Cook Real Estate, Cook and Cook Real Estate. I do a lot of their site work. Jennings does a good portion of the initial excavation and clearing, and then we do all the patios, walkways, retaining walls, and when I say we, I mean me. I'm actually just an outdoor living specialist. His nephew is a landscaper himself, and he hires me in to ensure that all those installations are actually going to last and have structural integrity. So my business is quite outside what we're actually trying to do here with this agricultural aspect of it. We're looking to just be like farming and get away from the masonry side of the business, you know, especially during the winter months. So come winter time, I'm pretty much not out there unless there was an emergency. Doing that kind of thing, those installations, but I would have the equipment to continue to maintain the road. Like for instance, this winter, just to get out there, I was using some of my equipment to maintain the road, just to keep it plowed and keep it cleared and access cleared there.
So, you know the zone you're in,
Yep,
and you know what it's used for.
yep.
So, you could wake up one morning and we just approved an industrial because that is per code what's allowed in the area. We have very, very limited space to do that.
Yep,
And I understand where your lot is.
yep.
But I always think, you know, and they changed the zone not that long ago.
This March, in fact.
That didn't allow, I don't know what the flex stands for at this point. Does it mean, is it just should not be there? Or is there, okay. Which, you know, makes it difficult for us, where before there was some flexibility for us.
Okay.
My biggest concern when these things occur is the first thing abutters are gonna do when somebody big comes in and say, not here, but it was always allowed there and so wasn't your property. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're saying that the properties abutting us essentially
Including
could-
your property.
Yeah.
Is designed, I shouldn't say it's designed, it's slated for commercial and industrial.
Okay.
Okay, many years ago, picked the strip
Yep.
of Mass Road for a reason. We have sewer there, it's a good stretch for commercial property. Not necessarily looking at each individual lot, I think they just kind of drew a line.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why,
I hear what you're
that's
saying.
why zoning is allowed, zoning boards are allowed. Just, just a question that I like to ask people when they are considering putting a residential in a,
The answer to that is, the Zoffis had a big farm up there. And also right next door to it was like 400 acres.
oh,
within
beautiful
farm.
land, yeah.
So it's not like, it's not a buttress. And it has a power line going through the site,
Does-
which has a nice trail.
But I am just making sure when people, if we were to consider this, they have to understand what they're building next to.
Oh, he's got his work cut out for him.
Oh, I'm not saying that, I'm just, I don't want to be here 10 years from now.
I think
I
that,
don't want to.
Like Christmas
I
trees
think if I
around the
can be a
city.
little more specific on
Sure.
what Denise is talking about this past March, because of a past history of other things happening in the commercial industrial flex zone, there was a proposition on the town ballot which said no residential in commercial industrial flex, period. My concern is that, here we are 6 months down the road and already considering, not to mention, I have other, call them life safety kind of concerns, and I'd like to hear if Jack has any report on it, what the TRC said, police and fire regarding limited access to the property, particularly in wintertime, and the ability to get things like firefighting equipment and ambulances in and out of a single lane dirt track, no matter how well maintained.
They were not concerned.
No, the chief actually said that I just would need to sign a waiver off on that.
He just signed a waiver on the fire access and ambulance service.
So they're treating it more like a driveway,
Yes.
Yeah.
their responsibility.
Yeah. And the individual is responsible to maintain it, as he would be if approved by the selectmen, for him to be able to build his home there.
Jason, can you put this up on the GIS map for me, please? And show the power line and topography?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I know, I
delicious.
just want to look at it. I had it open,
I mean,
but I didn't look at it.
is Google Earth fine?
There's-
If you go to just go to Goffstown GIS map.
Yeah, it's some of the steepest topography in town. On the downhill side, on the edge of his property, going down to,
And it's all ledge.
oh my God, yes.
Hey, listen, I know you can build on ledge.
What do you know about that?
I can build on ledge.
We know you.
Do you know that?
The hotel was actually right atop that ledge. It used to overlook Mast Road. You used to be able to see it right from the roadway. There's old pictures of it.
That's interesting. I didn't know there was a hotel. I
Yeah, it
knew
was
there was
the-
one on the mountain.
It was the George brothers. So there was two brothers. They were doctors. They actually used to tell people that the bottled water there cured tuberculosis.
Oh, I got something else.
I guess the water is high in iron, which makes sense considering every house that you see that's stained in orange. But yeah, it's definitely not curing tuberculosis. But
Like Kalmasnik.
yeah,
That's interesting.
You want the utility point?
It's in the topography, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I don't use this tool very much. I use Google Earth.
Oh,
I'm a wireless guy. So.
yeah, but that's it. Let me just go
That's all it's
to.
showing.
That should do.
Key on trails and maps too, because it
And
will
then
show the trail on
click
the
down.
power line.
Sorry. There'll be a thing for topography, go down.
Topo.
And it even tells you like how many feet apart.
Elevation contour.
You have it, Jack?
Yeah, I'll get it right now for you. 28.
You just go on the tax cut everything on that.
I just go to the different pages of the thing.
I can't say it on my boss.
Here's your topo.
Okay. Just want to double check.
She was
something.
looking for a place to ski.
It's,
Believe it or not, the Pageland where we are is actually reasonable. Only in one little pocket where they had their camp. Other than that, it is steep. Very steep.
And I know this is what we were.
I've driven that road myself, so I
Yes, how steep it is.
yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to verify that.
Because the county still owns a couple pieces up there too.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually bought the larger piece, and then our corner of our lot actually meets their corner. And then Greg's is above that, and it goes back.
Yep.
And the county farms over there too.
Yeah, UNH Extension, I believe, is the one that goes over there. I actually met with UNH Extension. I had them come out and take a look too.
Jack, you sound like a townie calling it the county farm. We were talking about that. How many people don't remember? There actually was a working farm.
Now it's, I mean, people just, must be kids or something, but they go out there and they shoot guns. Almost every weekend they're shooting guns out in the county land there. Push the yellow gate open.
Till they hear a rock and it comes back at them.
Yeah.
Gail, Denise, anything more?
Police used to.
Police? Yeah.
They used to shoot up there too.
Alan?
I'm good. I've listened to this gentleman before, and I'm glad that he's here. And to be quite honest with you, I wish him all the success.
Thank you, sir.
Judy? All right. Hearing nothing further, anything you'd like to add before I ask for
Different
comment from the public?
variances here.
No, I don't think so.
All right, looking back in the room, are there any abutters, interested parties, anyone else who would like to comment or against this application?
Across the street, we own a plot there.
Okay, you need to come on up, say and spell your name for Gail, and let us know who you are.
Yeah, Jake Tisdale. Me and my family, we own the plot right across the road from John. So we bought that, and we still need to sign up for it and come to you guys, but we'll be asking for a single family home thing too, so on board with everything John said and been doing, and love all the stuff there, and our kids play together there. We love it.
Okay, I'm presuming your plan would be to share upkeep of the common access road?
Correct.
Yes. As well as Greg, if he was here.
Yeah.
How long is that road that you're maintaining? I would assume it's to your place would be the furthest place?
Yeah, we're about equal,
Okay.
but
Thing, and then Greg's
So
right
how much,
here.
approximately, how many feet?
the whole thing, if you went all the way to the road, to Mass Road again, it would be about a mile, so we're
Right.
probably like 3/4 of a mile in.
And you're maintaining it though from the other end?
Yes,
And how much of that are you maintaining?
all of it, all the way
How
till
many,
the,
how far is that?
it's like 3/4 of a mile.
Okay, that's the required,
Yeah.
so I misunderstood you.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, UNH Extension was absolutely thrilled. I mean, they're hoping to get in there to be able to do some selective logging. Eventually, they haven't been in there in, I guess he said, over 100 years to do logging, and so it's time.
too, right?
Yeah, probably, I know, and I mean, the power line guys, I have to be thrilled too. The only downside to having it open all the time like this is that there are times when there's a lot of people coming down and tearing it up. So that expense is falling on our lap, which I'm totally fine with if it means that we can go down there. But that would be one question, is that I don't know if we have any recourse if it got to be any worse, because it's really not terrible. It's just people enjoying
Is it people
themselves.
in four-wheelers or
Four-wheelers, cars, you know,
think four-wheelers are
and
allowed.
99% of the time, it's kids, you know.
Yeah, they're curious. They found a new road.
You know,
Wanna get
I
out, see what's down there.
that would be the only question, if there was anything.
Is it property, is it your property?
No, it's a
No, it's Kennedy Hill Road.
Okay.
And it's a right of way, and they have every right to be down there just like we do.
But not on four-wheelers.
Yes, now that's probably, not probably, but that is the case.
Toyota Corolla's getting stuck there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Tearing up the road.
In a Toyota Corolla, I don't think so.
Yeah, we bring our trucks down there just fine.
Yeah, get down there.
Might not get
Land Rover
back.
maybe.
Yeah. Two variances.
The first is true coverage of proposal on commercial.
All right, hearing, do I see any other, I don't see any other bodies back there that seem to be interested. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. And the board will enter deliberations. You can sit back and watch, gentlemen. I hear Denise thinking out loud here, so
Yeah.
I'll await a motion.
Well, I'm trying to make a list here of what we have.
Yeah, they need the special exception and two variances.
So
The special
while she's
exception.
doing
Special
that,
exception to build the barn with the
So-
living space above for the
I-
proposed home and agricultural
I like the
operation.
idea. But
Then they
the
need
town had a
the
specific referendum on
variance
this.
because it's a
And the
CIFC
commercial,
zone.
or the
and
residential piece was specifically taken
Oh,
out.
I'm,
And that's where
To
I'm running into
maintain.
and
problems.
that's my hang up too.
Okay. I think we should start with the variances because they can't, right? Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. I'm ready to make the motions for the variances.
One at a time, or are you gonna do them at once?
I'm gonna do one at a time.
From both at the
Okay,
same-
I'm gonna, let me just make sure I get the wording correct. I grant that we approve the variance to require proposed agricultural operation as single-family dwelling, which is not permitted in the commercial industrial flex zone. I don't believe it's contrary to the public interest due to the location of this particular lot. Spirit of the ordinance is observed for the same reason. It's way up on the hill, nowhere close to the main road. Granting the variance would do substantial justice because it's only going to approve that piece of land, and hopefully maybe in the future that road will be built up. Surrounding properties will not be diminished for the same reason as all of the above, because it's fitting into the neighborhood. Unnecessary hardship if the ordinance is enforced. You got a piece of property that is far away from the main road, which is where the commercial industrial development is. This is coming off of large tracts of land that are used residentially and I can't speak, and used as a farm. So.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? 4-1, it passes.
I'm going to make a motion for the second.
You were
I'll let
against,
somebody
Jason?
else do.
No,
I
I
was.
decided to,
Oh. Second variance, I motion that we approve it, knowing that they have to go to the selectmen to get final approval. This is cause for them requiring, they don't have a street frontage on a town-maintained road. per section 14.7.3, even though they are on a unmaintained town road.
Class 6 road.
Class 6 road,
Yes.
thank you. What's the difference?
Class 5 is maintained by town.
But I said unmaintained. So that's a class 6, so they're the same, okay. I just want to know.
Keep it nice and legal.
Oh, I agree, for all the same reasons as the first variance.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
1, 2, 3. No, for the same reasons,
And I'm gonna abstain from that one.
and Jason abstains.
What's the reason, Jason?
Because I think that the select board has to say first, if they're gonna allow it or not, before we can decide to approve it or not.
No.
That's not the
Jack said
process.
we didn't know.
No, it goes in front of the select board, even if we approve it, they can deny it, and it's moved.
Done. Oop.
And they always see it after it comes to us. So that's the procedure.
They're looking for us
Yes.
to make a rule.
Okay.
So what was that conclusion of the voting?
4-1.
311.
3, 1, 1, 1,
311.
which means it's got 3 affirmative, it passes.
Okay, now it's a special exception. Want me to move on to that one?
Yes.
Okay. I deny it, no, I'm just kidding. I motion to approve the special exception to build a barn with a living space for a proposed home in agricultural operation on a lot that is located on a Class 6 road that is not maintained. Also, with the understanding that this lot has the potential to abut commercial and industrial property, businesses in the future.
You don't want to tell them with no access from Mass Road?
No, let them fix that road up.
Yeah.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Keep going, Denise.
I'm done. I did all 3.
Yes.
So the result of that was 311 or was it 41?
That one was
3-2-0.
3-2.
3-2.
So we did all 3,
Okay?
correct?
We did all three.
Then we're done.
I was gonna say, come on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See the gentleman for the next steps.
Thank you. I look forward to meeting you again.
The other applicant is not here.
All right, let's do that quickly first, because Alan had that matter he said he wanted to bring up
Sure.
regarding a variance at the end of
Awesome, I'll give you a call.
the meeting. So,
Thank you.
What
Thank you very much, everyone.
What is that?
Good luck.
That's me.
Appreciate your guys' time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome, thank you.
I thought it was one of those emergency.
Take your pills.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
like,
I
I put my
thought.
phone on mute. This is-
Are you okay, Alan?
I looked for a red light somewhere in the room.
It just tells me that my blood sugar is high.
I was gonna say your blood pressure up.
I was just kidding.
Do you need, oh, you don't tie.
Okay, can we-
So just to bring, so I went looking through the procedural rules. There isn't anything that says that either way, whether it can be heard or not, if they're not here. So I just wanted to,
okay.
I did look.
I think as a courtesy to the abutters who were here for a portion, but I'd like to entertain a motion from someone to continue
motion
the
to
application for Moose Club Park to the October meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Alan, the floor is yours. You said you had a matter that you wanted to bring up regarding a variance that had been changed.
We approved the variance at 221 Elm Street. for an ADU that was attached to the house and separate from the garage,
Where is, can you just refresh my memory on where this is?
just half a block beyond Page Hill Road.
Yeah,
Heading-
going towards Glen Lake.
Okay, it'll be on the left side,
Yes,
Yes,
heading into Manchester.
correct.
yes.
Yeah.
They did not build what we approved. We approved an ADU that was attached to the house with a 3-car garage underneath it. They didn't do that. There was a barn there which they converted to an ADU. Then built a 3-story a garage. Is there a finished,
10-foot doors.
and is there a finished loft in there?
There's a loft in there, but it's not finished.
So, when we approve a plan for an ADU, special exception for an ADU, are they required to build what we approve?
Yes.
It's my understanding.
It's in the zoning ordinance. I'll find it for you in just a second if you want to take a minute. 'Cause I remember finding that and making note of it. I don't know if I'm gonna find it in this.
It's 15.
Who is supposed to follow up when we approve zoning variances like that?
The one with the tennis court?
And you weren't here.
Huh?
I wasn't here.
So
No.
we had no one at that time following up on what we approved.
Correct.
We assumed that it was gonna go according to plan.
Well, they just built it. Just built it this
Just.
spring.
Oh, okay, so 2 years later,
Is that,
Yeah, it took them a while.
yeah.
is that the one that I'm thinking of, Alan, 3 doors, blue tinted siding?
Yes,
All right.
Yes.
Now I know exactly where you mean.
So that
with the
predates
gravel
me.
driveway,
Huh?
That predates me on the board then.
which is
Oh,
below
I don't
grade,
know.
goes into,
Just because it might predate somebody doesn't
Well, I
mean you
don't know
can't
what you're
vote on
talking
something.
about, so.
Yeah, it does predate.
There's a little road right there.
Huh?
It's right near a corner, isn't it?
Well, there's actually a road into a subdivision right
Yes.
next to the garage.
Yes, okay, yeah.
And there's a very narrow strip along that road that goes to a back lot.
That's right.
And so what happens is, the barn was built. And I know, but did he ever give you an as-built survey?
no, but when I went to inspect it, I made them reconstruct the barn with 2x6 framing, 16 on center, because it was 24 on center. It was at Bonds, et cetera, who did the work originally, because it was just a garage.
It was a 3-bay garage.
Yeah.
He took all the doors, overhead doors out,
Except for
put a
one.
front door and windows in the front, and made that the ADU.
He kept the garage in there though, kept a small 10-foot by 20-foot garage.
I mean,
door.
it's,
It's not at all what they said, they gave us.
Correct.
I've got the zoning ordinance, section
Okay.
15374. In the middle of it, it says, representations made at the public hearing or materials submitted to the ZBA shall be deemed to be conditions of any subsequent decision of the ZBA. The ZBA may convene or reconvene the public hearing at the site of the proposed use in order to permit observations concerning the site to become part of the record of the hearing and decision by the ZBA. So representations made are considered to be condition,
I mean,
Conditions of approval.
this isn't minor.
no.
well,
These
this
aren't
isn't
minor.
minor.
I mean, we've done some that do not look like they showed us, but it was
And
more
minor
architectural, you know.
variations in design are one,
Correct.
and completely not building what was approved is a whole different kettle of fish.
When I inspected it, it was strange when I inspected it, I'm saying, you can't do this. You can't build a garage attaching unless it's all finished. But the fire department came in at the time and says, well, they can, because from point A to point B, as long as we have fire retardant on that wall, fire retardant on this wall, and a fire door on both sides. And I said, I'm still gonna make him bring it all the way up to the rafters, right to the roof. And I made him do that. but, because I know they cut out for the two A-frame dormers. And I have a funny feeling that that's gonna be used in the future as more space.
So my question, I can't picture it right now. You basically have the main house,
Yep,
you have garage space, and you have an ADU.
correct. However, to make it an ADU, that garage was, a small garage was left on the barn.
How do they get
Yeah.
from the ADU unit directly into the house?
Walk through the garage.
Oh, Page Hill, it's all the way down.
Is that access to a house?
Yeah,
It is?
yeah, I sat down with Bill and I, and Bill says it is.
But to the code,
To the code, yes.
it is?
Yeah.
That would be similar to the door if you had a 2 or 3 under garage.
Correct.
Access to a lower level than a
Correct.
2 under garage.
And that's why I was leaning towards the whole thing to be fire rocked.
I get what you're saying about fire. I'm thinking of just access. You know, the whole point is you have to have access to the main building.
Right.
And there's reasons for that. It's so that it's not becomes a free-for-all rental place,
And I
right?
believe there's something in there we put in that it was not, and I put in when they, not, the final CO is that not to be used as a storage space for cars. It has to be our storage space for anything other than parking a car and that's it. But that was part of the CO for that,
And they have the exact square footage that they came here?
yes. On the old barn, because they kept the garage in the barn to make it they're in the gray area. They're in that gray area.
Not great.
Now,
Well, we could have them
the
go back, I
real,
guess,
the
but
real
what are you gonna do?
question is this a contractor error or is it someone
No.
who should have known better?
Contractor is best friends with the owner.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the owner knows better.
If it's the ownership that I'm thinking of, I don't want to say the name publicly, but a long time presence in town.
Yes.
So the question is, what are the enforcement options? How do we proceed on something like this? Is this a continuing violation that they can be cited with or fined? Or what's the,
Actually, they
what's
met
the
all,
procedure at this point?
Not a building permit.
they met all criteria of the building envelope from point A to point B being attached from the building to the ADU. They met their criteria, fire stopping, and they met their criteria with the garage being in the barn.
So,
So it's 4 cars there,
I
4-car
mean,
garage.
I think the difficulty is we're in transition for zoning and building. Is there a procedure when somebody gets a building permit that you would know that they come to zoning and you see the plans that we were presented?
I don't see it, and as a building inspector, I would go to the card, look it up and say, wait,
Right.
they went in front of the zoning, let me see why they went in front of zoning. So when I went out there, I said, where's your garage? Oh, it's right there. I said, what's going to be, how are you connecting this to the house? All of a sudden, now I see a foundation going up, septic lines going in, and I'm saying, and so the ADU became the 200 amp service there, going back to the house, being a sub-panel, back to the house, rather than vice versa. And I questioned that with the electrician. And I said, you can do it, and there's nothing in the electrical code that said they couldn't do it.
My concern, more than code, because that's
Yeah.
100% on you,
Yeah,
is that they presented something to us
you're right.
and they built something differently. What is the recourse? I mean, because there
Right.
needs to be recourse
It's
if
the
they present something and then do something not slightly different.
Oh, no, this is big difference.
Oh, yeah, when you see it. Now, I'll try to pull up the plans and look what was approved by the planning board. I mean, by the zoning board. I'll pull those plans out and I'll check and make sure everything's conforming what was approved here. But if the zoning board approves the bond for an ADU, as you said, for his family, his mother or something. But anyway, and the garage is gonna stay. So in between, all of a sudden, I thought they were gonna put a breezeway going from the barn to the,
And we're not supposed to be connected.
right.
They were not connected in the plans presented.
The
to this board.
barn and the ADU,
Was not connected.
They didn't go for a special exception, did they?
no, the ADU unit was gonna be attached to the main house.
Yeah, to the main house.
But not to the barn.
Right.
Is that correct?
The barn
If I
is the
remember.
ADU.
Yeah, the barn is the ADU now. Now.
But I'm saying when they came to us, I just, well,
It was on the second floor of the three-car garage
yes,
that was perpendicular to the road.
not the
Yeah, they tore
barn.
it down, right,
Yeah.
right.
And there was a space between the house and the barn.
Correct.
Because when I saw it, it was just empty lot, ADUs being finished off, and
Just
the
don't tell me
trenches.
what it is.
I think I know what you're talking about. I have to know my left and my right. That helps.
You mean,
Depends on which
you
way
mean
you're
this
going.
left?
Usually does.
I think it's pretty pathetic that somebody would do that.
Well, you're making them come in and get another variance.
I
For what they
think that
built.
would be appropriate.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that.
With an explanation on why
Why
they didn't build what they presented, because I believe they were sent away and came back.
They did. They
Because we
denied
were in
the-
the
it was,
shape of
they
they were
very
denied the
small
first-
amount.
Yes.
They were denied the first time, and they came back with a new plan.
I don't think they were denied, I think we gave them the opportunity to
To
redesign it.
To
To
okay,
rethink it,
yep.
to appease us.
Yes,
Because they
we
were
weren't-
way over,
We weren't
right?
going to approve it.
Because
what
it was
they had,
well
because
over
they were way
800.
over.
The square footage was
I'm recalling this now.
Yeah.
1,000. Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought so when I drove by that. I'm like,
That's a giant
Now-
garage.
They tore down the existing
yeah,
barn,
that's-
that barn. But you see the three-bay garage next door?
Mhm.
That's a whole separate building. Now that's converted
Yeah.
to an ADU.
Okay, well, I think we need to do that.
Okay.
That sounds, if there's a consensus of the board, I think if that's a reasonable or it's to send them something that says you gotta come back in and present what you built if you want.
Ask for a special exception for another ADU. Because
No way, I don't want to give them that.
God, that would
I don't want to
giant.
reward them. Listen to me.
but it's just,
You don't reward them for that, right? Break the rules and I'll get more out of it. I think they need to come here and get a variance for what they built.
try to get a variance for what they
Well,
built.
Well, whatever they need,
Yeah.
they need to come back.
They didn't do
for
what they told us they were gonna do.
Whether it's a variance for whatever they put in, or special, whatever it is that they need for what they put in, they need to be back here. And then we hear it as if we would any other application that did the work ahead of time, like the one we had not long ago, as you said. We consider it as though it was never built,
Right.
if we would approve it or not.
And you have to, we have to look at it like it's a brand new thing.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan.
All right,
Do we
I'll
need-
I'll
do we
get that
need to
letter
vote- Do we
out.
need to vote on it, or do we just task Mr. Shepherd with
No.
writing the letter?
I'll do the letter, I'll do the fines, I'll do everything, I'll send my little spiel out for the state fines. So,
Okay, and just, just make sure, since the building permit was given,
Yeah.
that this isn't gonna complicate
What did they
things.
submit for plans?
that I'll find out. That I'll pull the plans. I'll pull the plans.
Okay,
All right.
Because the company that did it, we've had run-ins before in court.
well, that satisfies your problem, Alan?
For the
No, it
moment.
just creates another one for me.
For the moment. Motion to adjourn?
Oh, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, GTB.